Hello again, YouTube. This is David once again from Clarksville Guns and Archery, coming to you with yet another video. One that's been a long time coming. We've had a lot of requests for this one, and it's just taken this long for us to finally get one in to review it. Just keep in mind, as with everything we do, I just give my personal opinions and impressions on it, and then let you guys be the judge. I'm sure this firearm needs no introduction. Let's go ahead and talk about it. This is the Springfield Hellion. Go ahead and pull this up so you guys can see it real quick. For quick backstory on this, for those that don't know, it does come from Croatia, which is the same place that Springfield imports their XD series of pistols. And the original rifle was the VHS. I'm not even going to try to pronounce what that stands for. I know I normally try to do. I'm not very good with Slavic, but it essentially means Croatian machine gun, and there's like some other word there thrown in. Internet's a wonderful place. You guys can look it up, but that is what the VHS stands for. Some of these features, just to kick off before I clear this thing and just show you guys, just from looks, if you've ever dealt with the G36 or the French FAMAS, this is very reminiscent of both rifles, and I'll kind of go whatever I mean by that here in 1 second. But first, let's go ahead and make this thing safe and show you guys it is in fact unloaded. As you can see, nothing down in the chamber, so hopefully the safety brigade will be okay. So a couple things to go over. First off, with most bullpups, there's usually not a way to make the buttstock longer, and the cool thing about the VHS series of rifles is, if you notice back here, they got this little switch. It's not a huge length of pull, but it does increase it a little bit, so that is something for people that have longer or shorter arms can kind of appreciate. The next thing we're going to talk about is the fact that this is actually ambidextrous. So some of you saw when I pulled the bolt back, you do have your chamber right there. You can also flip it on the other side and have it come out this end as well. I'm not going to pull it down. There's a quick fix to do it. Of course, YouTube won't let us do that, so I don't really want to go into detail with it, but it can be done. Going up further, if you saw the charging handle, it's very much G36-like, so it does swing out either way depending on you. Of course, I grabbed it like this, pulled it back, and then just let the firearm go. The other cool thing about it, for me, being a student of weird, interesting firearms, the sight system. It's very FAMAS-like. So what I mean by that is, I'll kind of turn this way. You do have a diopter system, much like the HK rifles. Also, the FAMAS, kind of turn this, kind of adjusts your diopter, which allows you to go from distances. So I thought it was cool they actually included that in this particular firearm. So that to me is where the interesting part kind of ends for me. It's hard to explain. You got to kind of put in your hand to really feel what I'm getting ready to say next. But you either love this thing or you're not. There is no middle ground with this. And for me, I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. So some of you guys out there might have a different opinion if you get your hands on it. Everyone that likes bullpups tend to think this is probably the best feeling bullpup out there. I don't know that I really agree with that, but I can see why some people think so. They did make a few changes, however, when it came to getting this rifle over here. Springfield, for example, put this type of handguard on here, made it more M-LOK ready. If you ever look up the pictures of the VHS and the VHS2, the handguard is much different. As is this little cheek piece right here. I don't know if, I've never seen a real VHS up close. I don't know if this cheek weld is on those rifles or not. I would think it is, but again, without having seen it, I'd have no idea. That said, with everything in mind, the way the magazine pops out and works, let's go ahead and show you guys that real quick. So I'll take my empty magazine here, put in the magazine well. As with most bullpups, there's a little button back here you push with your thumb to get it out. But the bolt release is probably the reason why ultimately I kind of feel about this whole firearm. So we got it locked open. I just put a new magazine in. Some bullpups you can hit on the side, some you can push back and push up. This one you actually have to kind of get your finger here, right there, and do that. That's not very ergonomic. I don't know if that's the way the real VHSs run. I kind of feel like it is. That takes time. And for a weapon that's supposed to be a combat rifle, don't know if I agree with that. Again, your mileage is going to vary. Maybe you think it's amazing. The final thing we want to talk about is the trigger pull. So let's go ahead and talk about that real quick before I finish up on this video. Get my little lineman tool out here. Safety check it one more time. Can't be too safe. So Get my little handy dandy tool here. Gonna take it. And that breaks at about 8 pounds. Let's try that one more time because I think that might be, I don't think it's quite that heavy. We'll try it one more time. Get down further. That one breaks at about 7. So yeah, I could keep doing this all day and we might get little differences, but essentially it's a mil-spec type trigger. Now, it's interesting how the trigger works because you hit a wall and there's a lot of sponginess to it, is the best word I can think to describe it. Again, that's not a bad thing, but that's what a lot of bullpups feel like. You kind of have to get used to that kind of crunchy feel as it comes back. If you can get used to it, a lot of people can run these and they run them great. I've never been a big fan of that particular trigger system, but again, that's my opinion. So overall, the last thing I kind of want to go over is this is a short stroke piston system, so your piston system is going to be up here. You can, of course, adjust your gas depending on how much gas you want to come out. Almost every bullpup I've ever dealt with, that's something that's very indicative of that design, so it's kind of cool they did that. And of course, your sling mounts are going to be up front. Again, that's a strange place to put them. I don't know that I'd put them quite forward, but at the same time, you know, I'm not the one that designed the rifle. So overall thoughts, this is cool. If you're into the more interesting type firearms, I definitely think it would be cool to have them in your collection. I don't think it's going to replace your AR-15 though. With that said, let's talk about the last thing that really kind of kills it for me, and that's the price tag. I don't know why Springfield imported it with such a high price tag. I think they could have shaved off a few $100s and been okay. Of course, we can't really show you the prices, but if you check out our website, it will kind of show you.
What is the price? What are the local gun stores?
Typically, you're looking between 18 to 2100 is what they most go for online. It's not unheard of for bullpups, but it's kind of, I don't know that you're really getting that price. It's not really worth it in my opinion. Again, that's just me. Some of you out there might be disagreeing and shaking your head and going, no, this is the greatest gun ever, and that's cool. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, man. But that's kind of what is the stopper for me. But there are people that have that weird, you know, I want to collect the weirdest gun I can. This thing is interesting. Let me get my hands on it. Some of you guys like spongy triggers, and if that's you, this is going to be the rifle for you. I cannot speak to how well the rifle functions as I haven't shot it, but there are people out there that have unbiased reviews, and the reviews seem generally positive. So if that's something you're into, give it a check out. Guys, we have this on our website. We try to keep content going as much as we can. So if you like this content, like and subscribe to our channel. Check out our website. If you like us too, if you like me, I like having a roof over my head, so maybe if you want to tip us, we'd appreciate that as well. So guys, without further ado, the Springfield Hellion, come check it out.